All this SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup action is energized by Red Square.
Big welcome to Zwartkops for SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup race action. Massive welcome to all the spectators who have been allowed back into the circuit. I'm sure they're looking forward to all of the action about to take place here on the black stuff at the Pretoria West International Circuit. Absolutely amazing to see that they are back in full force. And SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup are going to wrap up their championship here in the final round of the Extreme Festival. Graham Van Breda has already taken the championship, so it's basically the battle for second place that's up for grabs. And unfortunately, Michael Smith is not in the house. The injury from the previous round has kept him off the bike, and he won't be there to battle for that second place. So it's all up for grabs. Let's go and catch up with him in the pre-race press conference. The Cape Town Massive seem to be coming in here, Dave. We're going to start with you. Had a good season so far. It's gone well. And final round now. Time to try and get up there and possibly secure that second place in the championship.
Yes, Greg. It was a short race, a short year last year, unfortunately, due to COVID and all the horrible things that happened. But this year we've done a pretty good race meeting and a year so far. Second on the championship at the moment, and super happy to be here.
Moving on to Graham, who wrapped it up at Red Star, all sorted out. Going to just go and try and give a bit of a swan song, maybe have a double victory to seal the deal.
Yeah, for sure, Greg. That'll be the plan for tomorrow. Hopefully get the double, but whatever comes, we don't know what the weather will bring, and happy to win another championship. Managed to wrap it up in Red Star. And yeah, tomorrow will be another day, and it's nice to be back at Zwartkops again.
Whatever comes. Have a look on your left-hand side there. The killer's in the house. Trevor Westman, good to have you back on a ZX10, buddy, and big welcome to SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, the last race of the year, and for next year, I'm excited for the 22-yard championship. So yeah, excited, and yeah, well done to Graham, and well done to Dave for a good year.
Joining me in commentary will be Rob Portman. Rob, you can see these guys are ready to go for the final round.
Yeah, those Bridgestone tyres are fitted, energised by Red Square, of course, and it's great to see some Cape Townians coming through. Trevor Westman and Rob Craig, watch out for them. Trevor Westman's first time in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Great to see Brian Bontequin back, and Rodney McLaughlin. There's a name, a blast from the past. It's time to grab an ice-cold Red Square energy drink and join us after the break for Race 1 action.
Don't forget to enter the online competition on the Facebook page. You can win 2 nights at an international hotel, some hampers, and some free bets, but it's for a limited period of time only. Welcome back to race action now from the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup, energized by Red Square. We're at Zwartkops, and they're about to get out to the circuit for the first time in anger. Graham Van Breda hasn't put it on pole position. It's actually Gareth Besaidnout who was quickest in the qualifying. And in fact, incredible to see Gareth Besaidnout literally jump on the bike, get out there and blitz in an absolutely mind-blowing lap. He's going to be a hard man to beat today, but there's going to be a huge battle at the front end. Good to see Greg Gildenhuys back in the house as well, helping Spanner and do the fuel work there for Trevor the Killer Westman, all the way from Cape Town. And rumour has it there's a couple of other Cape Town riders that might be looking to join ZX10s in 2022, Rob.
The more the merrier here with the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. On pole position is Gareth Besaidnout ahead of Trevor Westman, and Graham from Idar in third place.
Anticott, Sanjeev Singh and Teddy Brook make up the third row, and the Silver Surfer will definitely looking to get him through. He's very good off the line.
Apana Ganapathy, watch out from him, coming from 7th place ahead of Rob Craig in 8th, and Brian Bontequin in a welcome return there in 9th. Brian always gets a good start and loves the Zwartkops track.
Johan Leroux ahead of Travis Nordia and Lafris Fitz. Bit of a battle there in terms of the man who was quickest in East London. Didn't quite have it all go his own way here in Zwartkops, so I think a bit of work to come from Nordia.
Ian Harwood, Ruan Alberhauser, Stewie Christie, Aubrey Murray, Peter Clark, Wayne Shelley. Great to see number 74 back in South African motorcycle racing there in the hands of Wayne Shelley. We go on board here now. with Capetonian Rob Cragg, and that's a really good start from the third row, the middle of the third row, and he's made up a couple of positions already. Gareth Bazandnote again with a terrible start. Your pole position man, we saw it at Red Star Raceway as well. He's got to sort out those starts and those first couple of laps if he's going to challenge. Henk Scaling a little bit further down. Ian Harwood making his own line there on the inside. David Entercott up into second place, but it is the number one plate. Graham from Ridal out front. Trevor Westman, the killer man from Cape Town, right in the mix there as well. And what a start from our onboard man here as we go on board Rob Cragg. That's Sanjeev Singh just ahead of him. That's a really good start.
Oh, super start from Sanjeev. Great start from Cragg. Incredible start coming out. Entercott, 4th to 2nd by the time they got down into turn 2, and he's definitely a man to watch out for you. Already putting pressure onto Graham Van Breda. Van Breda getting a fantastic start, but Bazandnote has fallen by the wayside here big time. He's down in about 7th or 8th place. The pole man didn't get it all right.
Brian Bontekonen on the inside there of our cameraman. That's Teddy Brooks, so losing out a spot there. Both these riders do like the Zwartkops track and are looking to get themselves a little bit further up. So Brian Bontekonen, let's see if Teddy Brook can just stick to the coattails there. The first time in anger, you lean it left. Always worry about that cold tyre syndrome, but looks like all the riders have come through easily and safely there. Sanjeev Singh right up inside the mix there. Got a great bat. There's your pole position, man. Gareth Bazandnote, he must have started this race in 4th gear because that is terrible. That's miles down.
No, it didn't quite work out there for GB, but I'm sure he's going to try and push through. He's on the back end of the Abadan bike there. LaRue is ahead of him, and you can see just how hard he's having to push through there. Speaking of pushing through, up into second place goes the killer. Westman moves up ahead of Entercott. What a big moment for him coming out of turn 2. That's going to hurt a little bit. Change of shorts by turn 3, please. And I think he might have just hung on. No, here comes Sanjeev. Sanjeev having a big look on both of the Capetonians. They're side by side out of turn 3. Brilliant stuff, and of course they've garnered it on numerous occasions down at the Killarney International Raceway. And right on the tailpiece there of Sanjeev, here comes Rob Cragg. You've got 3 Capetonians, a man from KwaZulu-Natal, and of course Springs is disappearing out front.
Yeah, Joburg in the house at the front end, but this is a brilliant return for Sanjeev Singh. Doesn't get to do as much racing as he would like, but this really is a brilliant show. Great to have Trevor Westman in the field, and it's the first time he's really on anger on those Bridgestone tyres, so still getting used to them. There's Travis Nordia, your East London winner, with Panna Ganapathy. Both those riders a little bit further down than I would have expected as we go on board here with the Panna. So it just shows you the class of field and the speed and the pace that is now the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. When you've got 2 riders like this, that guy has won 2 races down in East London, and he's dicing for a top 10 spot yet.
Yeah, looking for a top 10 and getting into single digits, so he hasn't quite got there just yet. Apana also, usually a very good rider at Zwartkops, maybe not gone according to plan there. There must be something wrong with those machinery. The Bucco bike, of course, of Travis Nordia, as you mentioned, double race winner down at East London Grand Prix. Where is Bazandnote? What is that?
That's not a line.
Is that the Valentino Rossi corkscrew line?
Yeah, that is a different line there from Gareth Bazandnote. So our pole position man not having it in his own way. Wonder what happened there. He just came out of the hairpin and just kept going right. He just didn't straight line it. So problems there for our pole position man. He's now lost even more positions. He's fallen into the clutches there of Lafrage Fritz and Olberhauser and Rodney McLaughlin in the battle there with him. Sanjeev Singh at the top of the hill, a change up. Ooh, he's not going to get that stopped. Oh, you know, he's lost that spot. So Entercott has kind of been making, having riders make passes on him, but he's able to fight back. Braking is another issue at Zwartkops Raceway as we have another replay of this. Watch Westman gets on the gas. Traction control says you can have just enough. Oh, did very well to hang on to that. Like you said, change of shorts, turn number 3, please.
Yes, it didn't quite work out according to plan. Watch out for the killer, though. He's going to be coming back rapidly. You see, Trevor Westman won't let that phase him too badly, as he is now looking to try and hunt down Graham Van Breda. Sanjeev Singh in with his chance here of possibly spoiling Entercott's day. He's applying massive amounts of pressure onto the back end of Dave Entercott, and you can see just how hard he's having to work to fend off the attack coming from the man from KwaZulu-Natal. That's 1 and 2. That's the gap there that's opened up now between Graham Van Breda and Westman. And look at that. The battle for third is certainly heating up.
Yeah, just behind them, this as well really is going down to the wire. Entercott doing everything he can to close those lines on Sanjeev Singh. Singh at the top of the hills, another passing opportunity here. Is he going to make it stick this time? We saw it a lap before, he didn't make it stick there. This time, look at the corner speed he carries, and yep, gets it done. That old school KZN road racing style there that Sanjeev Singh's got, that's very iconic. We've seen Trevor Crooks, Russell Wood, that same kind of riding style coming out there from Sanjeev Singh. From Ridars checked out Trevor Westman there in second place. This will be a great introduction to the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup there for Trevor Westman. Rob Cragg, one of our onboard riders, came from the third row of the grid, made himself some positions, but looks like he's just got a little bit stagnant at the moment. Going to try and close down on his fellow Capetonian ahead of him, but he's got to watch out because here comes Brian Bontekonen. And Teddy Brook also a little bit off the pace here this weekend. Panna Ganapathy has upped his pace, now got ahead of Travis Nordia, who's just falling into the clutches of some riders behind him.
Yeah, diving on the inside, Ruben Oberholzer, Travis Nordia we're on board with, as you can see, as they head down towards turn 2.
No
he's in a bit of pressure, and he's put his hand up. There's an issue. He's pulled to the side, and I think there's an issue there on the bike. We saw it earlier on. It wasn't at the same kind of pace he had down at the East London Grand Prix circuit. And unfortunately, the Bucco bike now pulling to the sideline, and possibly out of this, he'll probably roll around and go back into pit lane. Back up to the battle here between Cragg and Bonte. Rob Craig on the Matrix, Mad Max Kawasaki taking on the Jag Power Products machine there. And you can see just how hard Bonte's closing in. Bonte's actually put in one of his fastest laps of the race so far and fastest laps of the weekend to close that gap down now on Rob Craig.
Yeah, Bonte had a massive crash early on in the year in another championship, really did damage himself. So he's just getting himself back into form here now, starting to really show his true potential, the potential that we know from Brian Bontekoen. And like I said at the beginning of the show, he really does love the Zwartkops track, seems to go really well here, and he's starting to prove that now onto the back end of Rob Craig. Rob Craig, former top national superbike racer, still getting his way around Zwartkops. He's been here a few times in the past, but it's a whole new different kettle of fish here these days. Apana Ganapathy is now closing onto the back end of Teddy Brook. So we've got some really good little battles going all the way through the field here. Into turn one with Apana Ganapathy. He's closing onto the back end of Teddy Brook. Will he make a move there? Teddy Brook was phenomenal last time out at Red Star Raceway and just chipping away at those championship points, doing a really good job. Not quite carrying the lean angle there that he would want Teddy Brook to get out. And Apana Ganapathy just closing that gap. We could have a four-way fight here if these two could just close that gap to the riders ahead of them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And also looking at the fact that Teddy Brook is running his testing. We've got to change up. Bonte's through. Bonte's just dived on the inside there and got through, and Craig is unfortunately had to be settled for that position behind. But I was about to say, Teddy Brook running testing colours there. All black livery as opposed to the Brook refrigeration colours he'd normally run.
Oh, on the inside there, Apana Ganapathy. Is he going to get that stopped? Yes, he does. Brilliant move from Apana Ganapathy. So Teddy Brook not fully confident at the top of the hill there. That's a couple of positions he's lost now at turn number 5. And flicking it through the left-hander there. Apana Ganapathy starting to get into his groove here now. He's got the pace to certainly close down on Craig and Bontekoen and ahead of him. Although Bonte has upped the pace ever so slightly. Now he's got ahead of Craig and already starting to put a couple of bike lengths between him and the other Cape Townian rider.
Looking at Teddy Brook, remember he had a big crash on Friday, Rob, so that's why he's got those spare plastics on. We had a little bit of a joke about the fact that it was the test colours he's running, but the Brook refrigeration man maybe not feeling it himself. You can see maybe a little bit tender from that big one, so that's probably why he's a bit further back than what he'd like to be. He's normally very, very good here at Zwartkops.
Yeah, at turn 4 crash here at Zwartkops will knock it out of any person as we go on board here once again with Apana Ganapathy, and he certainly, as you can visibly see that gap to Rob Craig closing. Look how much time he made. Ooh, I was saying, look how much time, no brakes. That is no brakes. Classic turn 4 Zwartkops, no brakes. I was saying, look at the amount of time he was closing up on Rob Craig. Meanwhile, he had no brakes. And this is why he is a California Superbike School instructor. He did not freak out. He used all of his experience there, had no brakes, clamped on the back brake, used the gearbox, and got the bike stopped. So did very, very well in the situation. Here's a replay. Yeah, you could hear that
replay. Also, as he goes through there, he keeps it rolling through the kiddie litter as opposed to trying to put it down. Very, very tough start to the day there for these guys, and I can tell you something, that was a big moment that was very well handled there by Apana Ganapathy.
Yeah, I promise you, that is nightmare stuff. I still have nightmares about having no brakes at Zwartkops. It is a thing because of the track layout, and you're always on the brakes. These brakes do overheat, especially on a sunny day like this. No such problems for this man. He is your new champion, or your previous and new champion. Again, Graham from Midard takes a checkered flag. Second place, will it be Trevor Westman? Yes, he is, but look at Sanjeev Singh. That has got to be noted as one of the rides of the day because he closed down massively in closing stages there. Intercot will take that 4th place. Brian Bontekoen will come and hold off the challenge, yes, in 5th. Rob Craig holds on to 6th place there with Teddy Brook just behind them. So yeah, is your classification, your overall results. It is Graham from Midar ahead of Westman, Sanjeev Singh with a brilliant ride in 3rd ahead of David Intercot, Brian Bontekoen in 5th, Rob Craig in 6th, Teddy Brook 7th, Poseidon Note down in 8th place, Albahauser 9th, and Aubrey Murray in 10th.
Let's find out now from GB what went wrong.
Yeah, something's not right with my clutch. I bogged the start completely, went backwards. I think it was about lap 5, lap 6. I nearly threw it down in turn 2. I lost the rear and ran off onto the grass. And it seems my bike's actually blowing a bit of oil. So one of those things, I think it's day over for me.
Don't forget to enter the online competition on the Facebook page. You can win 2 nights at an international hotel, some hampers, and some free bets, but it's for a limited period of time only. Welcome back to Race 2 action now from the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup, energized by Red Square. Great to see the crowds here, and they pulled in a big way to the final round of the Extreme Festival to see the final race of the season for 2021's SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup. Greg Hildnay's doing a little bit of a change up there to the killer's bike. Rob Craig also just trying to find something special there because he was in such a great battle, and I'm sure he's looking forward to another one here in race number 2.
Yeah, Les from Midard just putting the final touches there on Graham from Midard's helmet. Sanjeev Singh was one of the riders of the day, no doubt about that, in 3rd place. So just watch out for that man. Let's see if he can get himself a little bit closer to the leading riders. Johan Leroux coming out of pit lane. He had some problems in race number 1. Let's hope those are now gone and he can put in another sterler ride in race number 2, the final race of the season.
Brian Bontekonen pulling into pit lane, that's a big problem. The Jag Power Products bike looks like it's got a bit of an issue on the left-hand side as he rolls into pit lane on that warm-up lap. So Bonte out of this one, so he's not going to have a chance to even get onto the track by the looks of things. That's a big worry. As he rolls in there, let's have a look and see exactly what that problem could be on the bike. Looking at the left-hand side, it might be that rear set that could have come loose there, Rob.
Could be, and that is your gear lever side, so it could be a problem there. Let's see, he's not in a huge hurry, is O'Brien. He is pointing down to the left of the bike, so there is his team. Let's see, yeah, it's definitely the left side of the bike. Problem with the rear set, either the gear lever or the rear set. So unfortunately, Brian looks like out of this race. Look at that wind, Greg. Those flags are blowing. The wind has picked up here now. That's going to change track conditions. That's going to change your braking markers. Let's see if these riders can adapt. On board here now with Travis Nordia has sorted his motorbike out after the problems he had in race number 1. Looks like a really good start there. Rev limiting, redlining that Buco ZX10 into turn 1. Apana Ganapathy going around the outside there. So again, finds himself a little bit further back, but it is the number 1 plate. Stefanuti Stocks Kawasaki machine of Graham Fromidar at front. Westman with a much better start. Let's see if he's got the pace to go with Fromidar now.
Yeah, it'll be good to see if he can run with Van Bredar. Remember, Van Bredar's been the dominant factor here. Michael Smith not coming to the final round, losing out the opportunity of possibly securing second place in the championship. And of course, Westman has stepped up for the very first time. You've got Dave Enticott right on his tail there, the Sarum Engineering and MotorWise bike, pushing hard. Sanjeev Singh is looking for another podium. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a big battle there. And also, I just picked up on the interim there, in between the races, on the pit wall, I actually saw Lundy Sinden. And I've got to just say a shout out to her because I believe there's going to be a baby Sinden by the end of May next year. So congratulations to the Sinden family.
Oh, so that's why could she not fit in her leathers for this race? That's why she's not out there. I'm pretty sure she would want to race no matter what. But great to have her on the pit wall supporting as we go on board here. Now a little bit further back, Apana Ganapathy, just not the start that he wanted. Again, he's got Aubrey Murray for company. I think that's just ahead of him. So again, Apana Ganapathy just doing that slow and steady start, but then finds his pace and comes towards the end of the race. But you only have 10 laps to play with here at Zwartkops, so not leaving himself enough time. Good ride there from Lafarge Fritz. And check out Stewie Christie. Looks like he's inside that top 10.
Yeah, Dog Doctor got a good start there. There's no doubt about it. Looking for an opportunity now to go a little bit higher up than he did in the first one. Much better from Travis. Travis now on the back end of Craig and pulling along the rest of this pack. But this is what I wanted to see, whether or not Westman could run with Van Bredar. Van Bredar wanted a clean and clear day and possibly to wrap up the championship with the last 2 races. It's always important to do that. You know, you've wrapped up the championship with a round to go and then you just give up and sit on the sidelines. No, not Graham Van Bredar. And there, of course, is Wayne Shelley stepping up onto the Shop 74 ZX10 for the first time. Great to have that number 74 back on track. And he'll be pushing to try and take on the Grandmasters out there.
Yeah, a little bit further back here. There's Apana Ganapathy, just not in it at the moment. Stewie Christie right on his tail, so we wait for Apana Ganapathy to hit that power button and just get himself into that groove. But look at that mid-pack dice. As you said, much better start this from Travis Nordia. It was always going to be a learning season for him this year, but next year is going to be a big contender, as will this man, Westman. Let's hope we can see him in a full season because someone needs to pull that number 1 plate off that man's bike.
Not an easy thing to do, particularly when he's in this kind of form, and he's been in this kind of form all season long. Couple of little glitches here and there, but needless to say, almost an unbeatable season there coming out of Graham Van Bredar. And it's on a numerous occasion we've seen that in ZX10. You have a dominant rider for a couple of seasons, and he's very difficult to beat.
Yeah, David Enticott, he's been one of the standout rides for me this season as we go on board here with Nordia towards turn number 4, carrying the speed there. But Enticott, I think, has been one of the standouts of the season. Done a phenomenal job, got himself on the podium, and is going to be another big contender heading into the 2022 season, which, like you said, with some big names looking like they're coming in. Oh, as that is Nordia up on the inside. So Travis makes a move on Rob Craig. So Nordia has fixed whatever problems he had in race number 1. He's starting to close in, looking a lot more comfortable and closing in onto the back of the top 5, potentially Sanjeev Singh just ahead of him there as well. And Enticott doing a really good job. There is Sanjeev Singh, there is Teddy Brook, and there is Travis Nordia. So yeah, Nordia is slowly creeping his way to that top 5 and potentially, if anything goes wrong with these riders, onto the podium.
Well, let's have a look and see what happens now as they come down into turn 1 again. Nordia closing on the Silver Surfer. And of course Teddy Brook running those slightly different plastics than what he normally have. We did mention the fact in race number 1 he'd had a big off on Friday, so maybe he's still a little bit tender from that. You can see he's also probably not getting the knee down as easily as what he would normally do, and that makes it a bit more difficult to try and circulate. But he wants to be out there. Remember, he's also fighting for honours in Class C, the Grandmasters title, and looking for opportunities to possibly take on the man I think is going to be king this year, and that of course is the man on that Avidan bike. Johan Leroux has been untouched in that class.
Great rides a little bit further back. Ruan Alberhauser, Lafarge Fritz, Henk Scaling in Harwood. Rodney McLaughlin on his return as Sanjeev Singh at the top of the hill. He did it in race number 1. He's done it again here on race number 2. David Enticott must be the sick of the sight of that, because I think that's the third time it's happened at turn number 5 at the top of the hill. But Sanjeev Singh, he really has come in here with a difference about him, a more confidence inspiring. I watched his social media the whole weekend. He's come here to compete, and that's exactly what he's doing. 2 podiums on the day. He'll be happy with that to take that down to KZN. And David Enticott, he wants a trophy to go down to Cape Town with him. He's picked up lots this year, but he would love one here at Zwartkops Raceway. Another rider that just used this year to learn, to adapt, and next year I think we're going to see the true potential.
Yeah, Sarum Engineering and of course Motor Wires behind him, and you can see a little bit of support coming from Sanjeev Singh sponsors too. Singh, of course, having worked hard. We're on board now with Apana. Apana's dropping back here. There's a problem here on Apana's bike. Maybe he's running out of brakes again. He had issues with the brakes, as we saw, running off at turn 4. And I think it's going to be a similar kind of situation here for him. He's going to try and circulate. Maybe he'll go into that California bike school trick to run the whole circuit in third gear only with no brakes.
That's what they do, yeah. Third gear, around the whole track and using no brakes. Look at Stewie Christie on the inside of Fritz. Not going to make it stick there. That's a brilliant battle. And that's for top 10 honours. Can you believe it? These two guys are battling for top 10 honours. Ruan Alberhauser just ahead of them, Aubrey Marais as well. So really good rides all the way through the field. Stewie Christie has just come from Midrand up the inside of Lafarge Fritz at turn 5 and made it stick.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from the dog doctor. Getting up on the inside there, Fritz had no answer. And I think if he's not too careful, there's going to be another move here coming from the dog doctor. He's getting that late braking dial to perfection.
Yeah, he probably has brake issues, but he doesn't even know. He's just keeps on going. Oh, Stewie Christie, David Enter, there's a Panaganapathy. You called it, Greg. I think just those ailing brake problems just coming. And this is one track where you don't want to even risk anything. So Panaganapathy doing the right thing, pulling into pit. Such a pity because, as I said, he's a top contender around Zwartkops.
Here comes Craig as well. Craig putting the pressure onto the man from East London. That Buco ZX10 of Travis Nordia could be in a bit of late race problems here from the Mad Max Kawasaki of Rob Craig. Craig is not going to give up without a fight. The one thing we haven't mentioned, Rob, of course, is the heat of the day. It's still hot, despite that massive amount of wind blowing around here. And as you know from riding at Zwartkops, getting up close and personal like these guys are doing starts to affect the ability of the motorcycle because it starts to overheat ever so slightly too. There's no ability for the bike to get in cool air.
Yeah, it's very hard for these bikes to breathe there. Rob Craig on the inside here, and like you said, when you're riding this close to a rider, you're getting all that heat off the bike in front of you, onto your front tyre, onto your brakes, onto your engine. So it really is a tricky situation here at Zwartkops Raceway. And like you said, even with the wind blowing, you got that humid sun, that 100% sun just kicking at you. And these riders and bikes are doing a phenomenal job to keep this pace going. Really impressed us with Travis Nordia, not only in this race, but throughout the whole season. Looking forward to seeing what he can do next year, as with Rob Craig. As you said, Trevor Westmont, From Redar's got his work cut out for him next year. Alberhauser on the inside of Aubrey Marais. That's a really good little battle, and the two black stealth machines make it stick, but Marais back on the inside. Yes, he does. So really little good battle going on there. That's for the final top 10, top 12 position. So that's brilliant riding.
The two Dark Knights going at it there at the back of the field. Up to the top of the hill there for the final time. Graham Van Redar's done everything right here on the day. 2 wins out of 2 starts just to wrap up the championship. It's the final blood of the season. I mentioned it in race 1. It's what you want to leave 2021 with. That little bit of extra confidence heading into your championship year in 2022.
Yeah, Van Redar, and he'll know. He would have heard the names that are potentially coming into the next season. So he'll take all this confidence. They'll go back to the drawing board. Him and Les never stop working. They'll do some fine tweaks to that motorcycle, and I'm pretty sure he'll be back next year to try and retain that number 1 plate again. He takes the checkered flag then ahead of Trevor Westmont. This is really impressive from Westmont. This is the first time we've seen him in the SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup, and he's come here, put it on the podium twice, and in the second race, put a little bit more pressure on Van Redar. Ian Harwood there. Here we go. Henk Scaling, the classic stand-up wheelie. Oh, the wind's just pushing him ever so slightly, but well done, Henk. Awesome to have him. Here is the final results then. Graham Van Redar ahead of Trevor Westmont. Sanjeev Singh again on the podium ahead of David Enticott, Teddy Brook, Travis Nordia, Rob Craig, Stewie Christie in 8th place, Aubrey Marais and Ruan Alberhauser in 10th place.
David Enticott just off the podium, but let's find out how his day went.
That'd be nice if finance were available. It was a flippin' awesome race day. Definitely a one to end the season. I think I finished second in the championship for my second time in the ZX10 Cup, which I'm extremely grateful of. Just want to say thanks to all our sponsors that make these events possible. SunBet's, Red Square, Bridgestone and Red Square, and obviously my sponsors at home, Sarum Engineering and Motorwise. Thanks to Mom and Dad for getting me here.
Great effort there from Trevor the Killer Westmont. Will he be the killer next year?
Yeah, it's quite a nice, really nice facility here. Very clean and tidy, and it's a nice track to learn and ride and stuff. But yeah, just the whole family, the SunBet, Bridgestone, Red Square, the whole family, all the riders, it's been such a joy. And I'm definitely going to do the whole season next year. And just to the Brain family, this is for you guys in honor of the Wayward.
Well-deserved rider of the day going to Sanjeev Singh here today at Zwartkops.
It was a fantastic day out. So good to be back at Zwartkops. I think it's excellent to be here with fans. So welcome back to all of them. They really make a race day very special. It's a very special day for me here today. It's 30 years since my first race here at Zwartkops, and I'm here with the MD of SunBet's Nitesh, who was actually at my first race helping me spanner. So it's quite an emotional and sentimental day for me. So I'm very, very happy about it. I finished P3 in race 1 and 2. The motorcycle was excellent. Luke Walters at MSC gave me an absolute rocket ship and a perfect bike today. So thank you very much to him. Thanks to SunBet's, Kawasaki, Red Square and Motorcycle Center. It's been a great day's racing. And yeah, just a shout out to my son Lee and all the young riders out there. It's never impossible to achieve your dreams in motorcycle racing. So keep at it, boys, and we'll see you next season.
Awesome stuff, Sanjeev. That's a really nice little send-off there. Graham Van Breda taking Class B and the overall championship. Endicott squeezing through to beat out Michael Smith for Class A. And a great effort there from Teddy Brook to win out Class C's for 2021. Let's catch up now with your champion, Graham Van Breda.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to my team. We've got a super good bike today. Zwartkops is always a hard track to set a bike up for because it's completely opposite to Red Square. So we got here with 18 Red Star. We got here with that setup and managed to change it. Got a real good setup. So thanks to my dad and to Peter for having a good bike this whole year. And yeah, to win the championship at Red Star and then come here and get a double. Really nice. I'm really happy. And the bike was running onto 3 cylinders. I don't know if it's running out of petrol or they had a little bit of issue in that last heat, but luckily I had enough of a gap to still bring it home and get the double.
There we go.
Overall for Class A goes to Westman ahead of Endicott and Rob Craig. Class B, good effort there as well, coming out of Sanjeev Singh and Graham Van Breda. And of course Ian Harwood up there as well, great to see that. In the C's, it was all about Lafris Fitz. What a ride from him, Stewie Christie, and great effort from Teddy Brook taking the overall. It was a great little SunBet ZX10 win, 2 nights accommodation, going to the rider of the day. That's Sanjeev Singh, as we heard. Another 1,000 rand headed towards the SunBet champion, and of course setting an awesome lap time as well there was Graham Van Breda. And there you go, Johan Leroux eventually got a championship prize, a SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup 2-night accommodation there, and he'll be joined by Teddy Brook, the two of them at any Sun International hotel.
All this SunBet ZX10 Masters Cup action is energized by Red Square.